5 side split stretching. We do this every day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community. I try to put good vibes out into the internet. I hope you put good vibes into the chat. And hopefully we can, together with consistency, community, good vibes, make it a little bit more fun to work on our hip mobility, to work on our side splits together. So if that sounds like something you want to do more of in this new year, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep on coming back. We do this every day at 9 p.m. Eastern, and on weekends, which is right now, 9 a.m. Eastern as well. Let's get into it. The first thing we're going to do is 3 warm-up exercises. The first one is called the hip CAR. CAR stands for Controlled Articulated Rotations. Basically, we're going to move our leg through our hip and get as much range of motion out of our leg as possible using our own muscle power. All right? They look a little bit like this. I'm going to try not to kick the table. We're going to start by lifting the knee as high as possible, directly up in front. Then we're going to open up that hip directly to the side. Keep the knee high. From here, we're going to rotate the leg in that hip socket. As we rotate, it's going to... I'm going to spin around so you can see my leg. We're going to try and get horizontal first. We're going to rotate that leg so that the ankle is really, 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 really high. And then we'll bring that leg down and back, directly behind us. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, pull the leg back behind us so that this knee is behind the standing knee. Try to keep the upper body relatively straight. And that's 1 rep. We're going to bring the knee back up and start over. All right, we're going to do 10 of these on the left side, 10 on the right, and then we're going to do the whole thing but backwards. 10 on the left, 10 on the right. Let's go ahead and get started. High knee, open, ankle horizontal, ankle up, leg down and back. That's 1, open, ankle up, down and back. 2, open, ankle up, down and back. 3, open, ankle up, down and back. 4, open, ankle up, down and back. 5, open, ankle up, down and back. 6, open, ankle up, down and back. 7, open, ankle up, down and back. 8, open, ankle up, down and back. 9, open, ankle up, down and back. 10. Whew, that is 10 hip CARs on one hip. We're going to do 10 more on the other side. Let's go. High knee, open up, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open up, ankle up, down and back. 3, open up, ankle up, down and back. If you are just joining in, we are doing hip CARs. These are all about moving your leg through its maximum range of motion using your own muscles and getting stronger and more mobile at the same time. I think this is 8, 9, last one, and 10. Those are hip CARs going forward. Now we're going to go in reverse. We're going to go backwards. All right. Most of the movements are the exact same. We're just going in reverse order, so it can be a little bit confusing. Let's talk about it. We're going to start by bringing the leg back, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. We're going to lift the leg directly to the side. You can add in a cool little whoosh kick if you'd like. From here, we're going to bring that ankle up way high, rotate, 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 rotate. We're going to rotate the leg all the way back down. From here, we're going to bring the knee to the front, and that's how we'll finish 1 rep. We're going to do 10 on the left side, 10 on the right side. Let's go. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 2, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 3. As you do more of these, your hips will get a little bit more warmed up. You'll be able to move a little bit deeper in your range of motion as the stiffness starts to go away. So go ahead and try to lift that leg a little bit higher. Put in a little bit more contraction into those muscles. I think we're at 5. Let's go. 6, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, 7, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 8, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 9, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 10. Oh, those are some more hip cars. We have just done 3/4 of our hip cars. We got one last leg to go backwards on, and we'll be done with the first warm-up exercise. Let's go. Same thing on the other hip. Bring that leg back, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, feel the stretch in the hip flexor in the front of your hip. From here, lift the leg up directly to the side. Get horizontal first, so knee to ankle, and then rotate the leg so the ankle is as high as possible. Then do the opposite. Bring the ankle all the way down, lift that knee up high, and bring the knee forward. I have a little bit of a hip thing that happens pretty much right here at this angle, and that first one is always a little bit weird. There we go. I think I'm past it. Boom. That's 3. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, 4. Up, side, ankle up, ankle down, 5. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 6. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 7. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 8. Almost done. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 9. Last one. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 10. Oh, those are hip cars. Again, these are all about moving your legs through that full range of motion available at the hip, and they're very tiring. So they're a really tough way to start our warm-ups. I hope you're just getting out of bed and you've moved your legs way more than you expected to today. Come on down. We're going to go into warm-up exercise number 2, and it is a little bit more chill. It's a little bit relaxed. We're going to get into this L shape. We're trying to fold at the hips. We're bringing the belly button down towards the ground. If it just looks like you're trying to touch your toes, that is absolutely 100% what we are doing. We're just trying to chill and touch our toes. I want you to try to keep your back relatively straight. Mostly, I don't want you to be going like this. I want you to keep the back straight. If it helps, you can start to look up slightly in front of you, and that will help keep your neck up, and that will help keep your back up. Cool? From here, I want you to focus on the belly button right here. We're trying to bring the belly button down towards the ground as low as they can go, and we're just going to chill here for a little bit. We suffered through the hip cars. Those were intense, and now we're going to let our legs and our hips relax a little bit while we try to get into a deeper folded position. Go ahead, add a little bit of a bounce. Remember, this is the warm-up. You can keep it light. You don't have to be explosive. You don't have to do anything crazy. We're just giving ourselves a light bounce. If you're stuck quite a bit higher and not able to get quite as low in the stretch, that is absolutely okay as part of the process. And don't forget to breathe. Breathing is very important to help you relax. All right, we've hung out here for a little bit, so now we're going to add in a little bit of movement, the actual walking part of the elephant walks. This part is going to look like this. We're going to bend one knee and straighten out the other leg and try and bring the belly button down the whole time. So we're going to switch from side to side, and you should feel a whole bunch of tension in your hamstrings because you're still trying to fold forward, but now you're trying to move the muscles at the same time. And your hamstrings, I don't know if you know this, hamstrings are 3 main muscles, and one of the muscles is actually a bicep. What a bicep is basically one end connects to 2 points in your arm. So basically it's like a slingshot shape where one end branches off into 2 ends, which kind of means there's basically like 4 ropes inside your leg that are shifting around and moving as you try to figure out how to get into a deeper version of this movement. And you'll feel maybe a little bit of tingliness. You'll feel a little bit of shifting, and that is absolutely okay. Other places you might feel this stretch. You might feel something just underneath your butt, and that is because that is where your hamstrings connect. They connect basically just below your knee and just behind the knee, right up into your pelvis, which is the bottom of your hips. And when you're folded forward like this, feels like it's just underneath your butt. Whew. All right, we've hung out in this position for plenty of time. Come on up. Oh, if your hamstrings are feeling a little crazy right now, great. That was the intention. Shake out the legs. Give them a chance to relax. I don't know why my arms are still crossed. You can give those a little bit of shaking and relaxation as well. Loosen up your back if you're feeling stiff from trying to fold forward that whole time. And we're going to move on into some thoracic rotation. Thoracic rotation is just anatomy speak for we're going to rotate the mid back. All right, so we're going to get right back into that same position we were just in. We're going to fold forward. We're going to bend one knee. So right now my left knee is bent. We're going to straighten out the right leg. And you can take a wider stance if you want. You can narrow the stance if you want. Try both. We're going to take the left hand, reach across to the straightened leg. All right, we're going to push against that ankle to help rotate the chest to the right. We're going to extend this right arm into the sky behind us and work on rotating the spine. We want the spine to rotate a little bit throughout the back, not just all from one spot. So if you're feeling a lot of tension in just one spot in the back, maybe dial back the intensity, maybe skip this if you have old back problems. But for everybody else, I might talk fast, but I want you to move nice and slow and open up that chest, rotate that spine, and reach up and back behind. In case I forgot a step while I was talking, we are taking the left arm, reaching across to the right leg. We're pushing against it to help our chest rotate to the right, to extend our right arm behind us, to rotate our head, to look at the hand reaching behind us, and we're coming back down. Opposite side, left leg is straight, right hand goes across the left side. Rotate the chest to the left, extend the arm up, look at the hand, and when you get to the very end, the deepest part that you can reach, exhale, and see if you can get a little bit deeper. Whew. I have absolutely no idea how many of those we've done, but I feel like we're pretty close. Let's just do one more. Let's go. Reach, 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 reach. Exhale. And come back down. One more side. Reach. Relax and exhale. And come back down. Whew. That is at least 5 thoracic rotations. And that is the end of our second warm-up exercise. I hope your back is feeling a little bit looser, a little bit more mobile. Maybe first time all day you've used your shoulder blades for anything. Don't worry, that's pretty much the only time we do anything for your back or your shoulders. So I hope you're ready to move on because that's it. We're moving on to warm-up exercise number 3. If you're just joining in, we're doing 45, 60-ish minutes of live hip mobility, side splits, stretching. We do this every day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community. Hopefully, I'm putting out good vibes into the internet. I hope you put good vibes out into the chat so you can support the community. And preferably, the combination of community, consistency, good vibes helps us all make a whole bunch of progress in our hip mobility, in our side splits. If that sounds like something cool you would like to do, hit follow, hit subscribe. Keep coming back. We're here every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. So kind of like 12 hours from now. But right now, we're also here at 9 a.m. Eastern on the weekends. So keep on the lookout for that. Whew. Okay, that is the second warm-up exercise. Let's get into warm-up exercise number 3. It is the Cossack switch. And in general, it looks a little bit like this. We're going to sit down into one side as much as we can. We're going to try and keep our hips low. We're going to come over to the other side. That is essentially the Cossack switch. If this is too intense for you to start out with, which is totally normal, we can start with something that looks a little bit like you're just folding and trying to stay in a deep squat position. When we are here, we're squishing the front of the ankles, we're squishing the hips. We're trying to fold forward and get into this little ball shape. Hug your knees to your chest. And just hang out here for a little bit so that you can get your hips used to being squished down like this. It's Very likely, if you're leaning really far forward, your heels will come up. For now, that's okay. If you can sit back onto the heels and turn into a little ball, go ahead and do that. But I imagine for most people, your tibialis muscles, the muscles in the front of your shin, will start firing really hard trying to keep you balanced. So if any of your muscles are working really hard to keep you balanced, just lean forward a little bit and ball up. We're hanging on the ball basically to help get our hips a little bit pre-stretched for the Cossack switches in a couple of seconds. Once you have squished a little bit, I want you to try and get into something that's closer to a wider stance squat. Place your hands on the ground and extend a leg out. Keep your hands on the ground if you can't stay balanced. If you can stay balanced, you can do whatever you want with your hands, but your legs, your quads are going to be a little bit more tired. So if you just follow along and do the general movements, you're going to be good. But I'm going to try my best to give you a couple bits of extra information to make this a little bit more valuable. You might have heard we do a little bit of side split stretching. And for that side split stretch, this position is actually really important. Right now, the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. Basically, the leg is rotated out from the center of the body. It's called external rotation. You need this position in order to get into a side split where you are sitting up. All right? And basically from the midpoint of my body out, this is a side split stretch. So you know you can get really close to the ground as long as you can get both your legs coordinated, right? Cool. All right, from here, I want you to try to keep this heel down on the ground. That might mean you have to hang out in a sort of squat position. Maybe your quads are really firing. I want you to put your hands down. I want you to scoot your butt over to the other side and see how low you can get over here. This is going to be our first half rep. We're going to put our hands down. We're going to scoot right back over to the other side. We're going to try and squish down as low as we can. Remember when we turned into a little ball on the floor? This is the position that we want to try to get back into, but with one leg fully extended. Again, bring that hand down. Bring your body across. If you are stuck a little bit higher up, you can't get quite as low down to the ground. That's absolutely okay. Just try your best. Come back over. I think this is rep number 3 and 4. As you move, remember, I want both your heels down on the ground when you get to either side. I'd like you to hang out on each side for a half second, for a second, if you can. And if it ever gets too intense, you can always put your hands down. You can take a break. If your knees are getting a little bit achy from going from side to side, you can come up to sort of a half squat. Come across first, and then try to sit down and sink into that stretched bottom position. Then again, do a quarter squat, half squat, come across, and then sink into that bottom position. What we're doing is working on strengthening the legs, working that stretch. At the same time, we're building strength and mobility. I have absolutely no idea how many of these we've done. I'm pretty sure it's something like 8 or 9. So let's do one last one and we will wrap up. This is really challenging, and this is the final warm-up exercise. If you're worried that this is a warm-up exercise and this is already a little bit intense, don't worry. What we have coming up is 5 stretches, and nothing is going to be quite as demanding on your strength as that. Whew. All right. If you have some water available, go take a moment and grab it. We are going to move on into our 5 stretches. The first stretch is a hamstring stretch, and I do it a little bit like this. We're going to drop down onto one knee, extend the leg in front. We're going to fold downwards like so. So I recommend you go grab a cushion, something to kneel on, because it's a lot of pressure on your knee. And why not have a little bit of cushion to feel a little bit better? Cool. Go ahead, grab those things. And while you go grab things, I'm going to check the chat because I have not been here at all yet. Let's see. I don't think I see much on YouTube. So let's check how things are going over on TikTok. Ooh, a whole bunch of people are in right now. Ooh, wow, we have 100 people. I think that basically means I gotta tell you what we're doing. If you're just joining in, we do 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching every single day. We just finished the warm-up, and we're going into some stretches. The warm up is a little bit of cardio, a little bit of strengthening, a little bit of like moving your hips and stuff around. And now we're just getting into some hardcore static stretching. We do this every day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community. I try to bring good vibes to the internet to help you guys stretch. I hope you bring good vibes into the chat and support each other while we stretch. And I hope that combination of consistency, community, good vibes helps make it so that when we do stretch and we suffer on the floor back there, it's a little bit more fun. It's a little bit more bearable. You enjoy it more so you can keep going and make some progress. Cool? That's what we do. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. I hope you're having fun so far. Let's get into some stretches. And I got into the spiel so fast that I forgot to actually check the chat. Thank you, landlady, for commenting on it so that you can get this onto the For You page. I appreciate it. Georgia, yes. Okay, cool. I'm not going to scroll in the chat for too much longer. Let's get into the exercise. I'll scroll and I'll respond to comments at the end. Let's get into the first stretch. The first stretch is a hamstring stretch. If you're going to face me and you have a big enough cushion, and you put your knees both on the cushion while we talk about form. We're pointing our hips forward, our shoulders forward, our head forward, everything forward, including the leg we are going to stretch. If your legs are too close together, you might suddenly feel like you're losing balance and get a little wobbly. If that's the case, you can aim your leg out just a little bit. From here, we're going to focus on the belly button. All right, we're going to fold the belly button down. We're going to try and touch it to the thigh. From here, we're just going to hang out and we're going to breathe and we're going to try and bring it down. Cool. I'm going to rotate. You don't have to move because I can't see you anyway. And we're going to get started. Let's get into this position. I recommend that you pull the leg into the hip socket, kind of like suck the leg in before you fold forward so that you don't have to work any harder than you need to balance all the other muscles. If that doesn't make sense, don't worry, just suck your leg in. From here, as you've brought your belly button down, I want you to try to keep the back relatively straight. If you're really focused at looking at that leg, right, your head is going to come down. If your leg comes down, your shoulders are going to round, and then you're going to get into this very rounded position. It's not usually the end of the world if you do a little bit of back rounding, but it's a lot of extra pressure on some of the vertebrae in your back that you don't need. So try to keep the back relatively straight, and let's go. Keep on bringing that belly button down. See how far you can fold. For now, we're going to do a big inhale, and then we're going to do a slow exhale. While we exhale, we're going to try and release and fold and bring our belly button even lower. All right, let's go. Big inhale. Slow exhale and fold. Oh, and remember, try to keep the back relatively straight. If you're struggling with that, you can try to look up a little bit with your eyes. It will lift your head, and if your head lifts, usually your back also goes up with it. Whew. I hope you've taken some normal breath while I told you about neck things. Let's do one more inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale and fold. And once your hamstring stretches, just killer. Let's go. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. You might feel tempted because it's so uncomfortable, but don't do that. 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Remember, the goal is to touch your belly button down to your thigh. Fold it down. 13, 12, 11, 10. Remember to breathe. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, come on out of that hamstring stretch. If your hamstrings are tired and they're tense, that's okay. That's normal. Chill for a second, relax for a second, and then we're going to switch over to the other side. Let's go. Oof. Whew. Shake out the legs if you want. Felt like that was one of my most intense hamstring stretches in a while. I don't know what happened, but it felt really deep. And then because it felt really deep, I tried even harder. And that was kind of intense. My left leg is my bad leg. I got an old hamstring injury. So if you find that one leg is way more flexible than the other, that's totally normal. We're going to do the same thing. We are going to pull this leg into the hip socket. Once again, your hips, your shoulders, everything is pointing directly forward. And we're trying to bring the belly button down to the thighs. All right. Try our best. Get wherever you can get. And then we're going to do the big inhale, exhale. Ready? Inhale. Exhale and fold. Okay, take some normal breaths, relax, try to keep your back relatively straight. Look up a little bit, that will help. And I hope you've taken some normal breaths because we're gonna do one more inhale, exhale, inhale. Exhale and fold. Feel that stretch in your hamstrings. They are angry at you and that's okay. 30 seconds, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. I think part of the reason why I'm feeling more flexible is because I think I rambled quite a bit when we were doing the elephant walk, and that extra time there really helped out. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. We're bringing the belly button down to the thighs and trying to keep the back relatively straight. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come on out of that stretch. I forgot to tell you, if your knees are a little bit achy, they're a little bit sensitive, and when your leg is fully extended like that and you're folding, you're feeling a little bit too much pressure in your knee, you can give it a light bend. I'm going to get back into that position so you can see it for next time, but you don't have to copy me right now. When you give your knee a slight bend, it reduces that hamstring stretch, so you can usually fold a little bit further so that you can bring your knee to your chest. Once you have hit that goal, which is your first next step, because you don't want more pressure on the knee. Once you've done that, you can slowly try to straighten out your knee again from that position while your chest is really, really, really close to the knee. And that will take all the pressure off of the stretch in the beginning before you get all the way down. You get to do this instead, and then at the end, you straighten out your leg, and hopefully that will reduce the amount of struggle that your knee is going through. Cool? If that was a little bit confusing, let me know, and I'll explain it again at the end. This cushion, we don't need it anymore. We're done with the hamstring stretch. So let's move on into stretch number 2. Stretch number 2 is the butterfly stretch. Most of us are going to have a little bit of tight hamstrings, maybe tight hips from sitting at a desk or something like that. So I recommend you get to a wall to give you a little bit of support with this stretch, and I'll explain why in just a second. Once you get to a wall or something really stable and sturdy that you can lean your back against, you have your hips, your shoulders, your head against that straight, flat, sturdy surface. Practicing good posture for the first time in a while. Take your feet, bring them together, pull them in towards your groin area, and we're going to get into the butterfly stretch. If you didn't know, this is what the butterfly stretch looks like. In other countries, it's frequently called the tailor's pose, so you might hear that thrown around as well. From here, the goal of this stretch is to stretch out the groin muscles. When you get really good at this, it's like a mini side split, because once you extend your legs and you bring your legs that far open, it's basically the same thing. So we're pre-stretching a whole bunch of muscles that we need for the side split. In this position, just like when we were doing the hip cars, I care about you building up strength whenever we're doing a stretch. So here, to build strength, I want you to contract the outer thigh muscles, the glutes, and I want you to contract them to help open up your legs. And what that really means is I want you to see your knees get down closer towards the ground. If this is your first time on the live and you haven't ever really used these muscles, it'll be a little bit confusing, and that's okay. Just try your best to bring the knees down to the ground and just flex all sorts of muscles. You might mess up a little bit. You might be flexing the muscles here on the inner thigh. That's fine for now. You'll figure it out as we go. Cool. Once you flex those muscles and their knees are getting closer to the ground, I want you to take your hands and I want you to apply some bonus power from your arms. When you do this, you should feel some pressure in your shoulders, in the back of your shoulders, in the back of your head, because you're pushing your legs down and your back is going to want to push back into the wall. But the wall is there and it's not going anywhere. So it's basically helping you not fall backwards and apply all that pressure into your legs to open up your hips. This is the position we're going to hold for the next 30 seconds. I'm going to scoot to somewhere else because I don't have quite enough room to bring my knees down to the ground. But I hope you're ready because we're going. Let's go. 30, 29, oof, 28. My hips just cracked. 27, 26. Don't hold your breath. Keep breathing. And you don't have to flex those muscles, the outer thigh and glute muscles the whole time. You can relax a little bit. Breathe, apply a little bit more force. You can contract them. You can experiment and see what's going on. 20. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, we're almost done, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, let the hands go first. Your legs might be feeling a little bit stuck, especially if you're contracting those leg muscles for a long time. They might feel like they've somehow fallen asleep somehow, even though you're just contracting them so hard. What I want you to do is just lift the leg with your arms, give them a little bit of a wiggle, flap the wings of this butterfly in your butterfly stretch, and your legs should wake back up. Move them, flop them around for a second if you need to. Give it a light massage. And when you can, let's get into stretch number 3, the standing pancake. Come on up. Oh. I hope you're feeling a little awake now because this is where the intensity is going to pick up. In the standing pancake, we're trying to do 2 things. We're trying to open up the legs and we're trying to fold really far forward so that our head somehow ends up kind of in between our legs. It's a really hard stretch, and we try to do the variation that gives you the most help from gravity. So in the standing variation of the pancake, I want you to open up your legs decently wide. It doesn't have to be crazy. If you have pain in your hips, it's already feeling uncomfortable, bring your legs in. It doesn't have to be that wide. From here, I'm going to fold at the hips. You're going to point your belly button down towards the ground so that your back is getting close to horizontal. And this is our main starting point. If you're slightly higher up, that's fine. But you want to get into something that looks like this L shape. From here, you can open up your legs wider and you should have no difficulty because you're basically in a rotated position where you can get into the side splits. We'll talk about that when we actually do the side splits. But for now, I want you to feel how your head, your chest, your whole upper body is being pulled down by gravity, and that's helping you get into a deeper stretch. We're folding forward, bringing the head and the chest in between our legs. Thank you, gravity. There's the pro. Gravity is helping us. There's also like a pro con. When we get into this position, the inner thigh muscles have to work really hard to support us because we're standing up. The wider your legs are apart, the more weak, I guess, the less strong your inner thigh muscles, the adductors, are going to be, and the harder it's going to be to hold this position. So if you're already in this position, maybe you want to come out a little bit of it and take a break before I finish explaining everything, and you don't need to hold it for the whole time. From here, if you extend your arms out in front of you, you'll suddenly feel a huge difference in the amount of pressure on your hips, pulling you forward. You can just stick with that. If you feel like you're falling forward and you can't figure out how to quite balance yourself, I recommend you stick your hips really far back behind your legs, behind your ankles, and that will help you counterbalance a little bit. We can do just this variation where we're just passively trying to bring our body down to the ground and folding at the hips with our legs apart, or we can take it a little bit more intense. We can grab sort of the calves, and we can give ourselves a little bit of a pull to pull ourselves down. Try to keep your back relatively straight when you do that. And yeah, that's it. Good luck. Let's go. We're going to do 30 seconds. Butt back, arms out in front of you. If it's too intense, you can pull them back. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. If it gets too intense, you can always come out of it, move into an easier position. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, put your hands down. Oh, come out of that position. Take your time. If you did that right, it's probably really difficult to get up right now. Like I said earlier, you should be feeling the stretch in two main places. Inner thighs, because they're the muscles holding you up when your legs are apart, and in your hamstrings. Those are the muscles that are getting stretched when you fold forward. Oh, take a couple seconds, recover from that. I spent a lot of time explaining what kind of in that position, so you spent a lot of time in some variation of wide leg forward folding. So give yourself a break, shake out the legs, relax. We just finished a third of our 5 stretches. The fourth one is a little bit more chill, it's a little bit more gentle. You get to lay down. We are going to move right on into it. I'm pretty sure we did the pigeon this morning, so we're going to do the figure 4 today, or right now, because we have 2 shows today. And the figure 4 looks vaguely like this. We're bringing the ankle across to the other side of our body. We're going to grab that whole leg. We're going to bring it up to the belly button, and we're going to bring the belly button down to the leg. While that happens, we're going to feel a stretch here in the side of the glute, in the side of the hip, and that is the stretch. That might look vaguely familiar to something like a pigeon stretch. Ooh, that table is a little bit more shaky. Maybe I should not have done that. Pigeon stretch. This is an elevated pigeon. You can do a pigeon on the floor. If you have a preference, if you already know it, you can go ahead and do that. We're going to do the figure 4. The figure 4 is done on our backs. So we're going to lay on our backs. We're going to take the leg. We're going to stretch. We're going to cross it over to the other side again. We're going to reach our hands through, and we're going to pull this knee in towards our chests. All right? And it's going to, once again, bring the chest to the leg and leg to the chest. And we're going to feel that stretch out here in the side of the hip, in the side of the glute. That's it. That's the whole stretch. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. It's chiller, but it's not that chill. Keep pulling on your leg. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Remember, you're supposed to feel it in that hip. If you're not feeling it in that hip, try to bring the leg closer to your chest. You might need to cup the knee and give it a little bit of support if you're feeling a little bit of knee discomfort right now. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, remember to breathe, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ooh, that is one figure 4 stretch. We got one other leg, and then we have the side splits. Take a couple of breaths, relax, and let's get ready to go. I'm going to spin around so that you can see my legs again. You don't have to move at all. Cross the leg over to the other side. We're going to reach our hands through the triangle and around. Pull that leg in towards our chest. And from the side, we're bringing the leg into our chest. We're feeling the stretch out here in the side of the hip, side of the glute. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Again, if you're feeling discomfort in the knee, you can cup it and give it a little bit of support. Pull directly from the knee. 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. If it suddenly feels like you're just ready to take a nap and you're not feeling a stretch, you're not pulling your leg hard enough, keep on pulling. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ooh. You might have noticed this time around as well that one hip is way more flexible than the other. For me, my right hip is way stiffer than my left hip, which is kind of funny because my left hamstring is worse than my right hamstring, but my left hip is able to come up closer than my right hip. All sorts of weird imbalances, right? That's totally normal if you have different injuries on different legs. If you are somebody who jumps off of basically only your right leg, different legs are going to be capable of slightly different things, and they'll have adapted to your use over the years. Okay, that is the fourth of our 5 stretches. We're going to move on into our side splits. Every other stretch that we've done before this has been one 30-second static stretch hold. When we do the side splits, it's going to be a little bit different. It's still static holds, but we're doing 3 rounds of 30 seconds. And in between each round, we're going to shake out our legs. We're going to try and get loose, try to relax the muscles, turn our legs into jello so that we can refresh and get into another round. Before we get into the actual stretches, I want to talk about safety real quick and how important the feeling of safety, the feeling of the ability to relax is. A lot of stretching is your muscles going, whoa, what is this? You're doing something crazy. That's not okay. And that's why they all tense when we're doing the side splits, right? I showed you that if we were in this position down here, my leg can get all the way over there pretty chill. But when we try to do the same thing with 2 legs at the same time, I can't usually get that deep with both legs at the same time. There's no reason why the muscles can't do it. There's no muscle that connects this leg to this leg. They all end at the hip, right? So this is your body going, whoa, this is a scary position, super dangerous, I don't like this. And all your muscles are tensing and keeping you from getting into a deeper position. Cool? If you can understand that part, you now understand that the whole entire thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to get our muscles, we're trying to get our brain to coordinate with our goals. Our brain is going into automatic mode and it's going, hey, that's dangerous. Don't do that. This is scary. I don't trust that you're able to take care of this position and make sure we're safe and we're not going to get hurt. So if you are in this position or you're trying to get into this position, you also in the back of your head feel, oh man, if I start falling backwards, I'm gonna bust my butt. This is kind of dangerous. I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm anxious. Maybe you have something you're trying to get to immediately and my long ramble is not helping. In those cases, your body is going to understand the stress. It's not going to understand where the stress is coming from, but it's going to understand the stress. And if you're stressed and your body's already stressed, it's going to be really hard for you to relax into a deeper stretch. So there's a couple of things we can do. One of them, hopefully you're not on a really, really tight time crunch because that doesn't help. 2, you feel safe. For us, that might mean you have all over the floor. You have all sorts of things to fall back on and give you support. I like to recommend that you have a wall that you do the side splits in front of so that if you lose balance and you start falling backwards, and you're like, oh no, what's going on? Ugh. Your left shoulder will hit first. Your right shoulder will hit first. Maybe your butt will hit first, and those will catch you long before you slam your butt into the ground. At least that's my hope. If you don't have access to a wall, I'm going to use this table. And this table happens to be at a height where if I start falling backwards, I can sort of kind of hang out and look like I did that intentionally and that I'm really cool. So I like this. I'm just kidding. There's just not enough room to position the camera for the wall. I prefer the wall. But the table is not a horrible backup option. If you need other things, if you want to fill the floor with cushions because that will make you feel safer, go ahead and do that. because at the end of the day, it's all about making progress, and how you make progress does not have to exactly look like the way that I'm making progress. Cool? All right, that's the ramble with some psychology, some safety. Let's get into some side splits. We're going to open up our legs. And it shouldn't hurt in the hips. If it's already hurting, then bring your leg a little bit together, and we're going to fold. Fold forward. From here, when your head is pointed that way and your toes are also pointed that way, you should be able to open up your legs and it should not hurt. All right? Basically, the next step is we're going to turn this position into a seated position. So we're going to rotate everything backwards. That's a really confusing thing to say. So I'm going to talk through all the steps. From here, we're going to put our hands down, give ourselves a little bit of support. I want you to almost try to do a little bit of a push-up from this position. We're not doing it because I'm trying to train your arms. We're doing it because I want you to shift your body weight into your arms. When the weight is in your arms, there's less in your legs, and that makes it easier to externally rotate. External rotation looks like this. We are rotating the leg so that the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are up. Again, heels down, toes up, knees up. If there's anything at all you should take away about side splits, it is this movement right here. This rotates the thigh bone so it does not smash into your hip bone, and this allows you to get into side splits. So, noticed how I said if we're in this position where our toes are pointing towards the camera, my top of my head is pointing towards the camera, we're good to get into a wider stance. What we're doing now is rotating the legs so that the toes are pointing into the sky. We're going to do the same thing with our heads. We're going to bring our head pointing up to the sky. We're rotating backwards 90 degrees. All right? If that has made a little bit of sense, great, awesome, because we're moving on to the next topic. Walk your hands back towards your hips. When you do this, all the weight that we shifted forward is going to come right back into your leg. You're going to start feeling a really deep, intense stretch. Take a couple seconds, breathe here. We're going to do a little wiggle from side to side to see if we can break the friction holding our feet back from sliding out just a little bit deeper. Once you can't get any deeper, it's time. 30 seconds, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. This is a very intense position, so if you are struggling a little bit, you can always come into a slightly reduced position. You can bring your legs a little closer together. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, we're done. Walk your hands forward as much as you can. Toes pointing back that way. And, if you need to crawl around, that's okay. Nobody can see you, just me. Bring your knees in and, come into this kneeling position and just hang out. Rest for a little bit. Breathe. If you did that right, you should be feeling a little bit of tension here in the front of the hip, a little bit of tension in the side of the hip. You should be feeling some tension and stress here in the center, in the inside of your thighs, and probably your hamstrings and a whole bunch of other things. From here, we're going to come on up into standing. We're going to try our best to shake out that tension. We're going to try our best to relax the muscles so that we can get right back into round 2 of the side splits with as much chillness as possible, as much relaxedness as possible, and get the most out of our second side split. All right, let's do it. Come on up into standing. We're going to shake it out. I want you to imagine that you just got out of a pool of water, a jacuzzi, a hot spring, something nice, and you're trying to get your feet a little bit drier. Just shake off, flick off the water from your legs. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. If you want, if you prefer, you can be flicking water at your mortal enemies, just getting them wet for fun. And whatever you enjoy. From here, as you get more comfortable with the idea of shaking out your leg, I want you to let the ankle relax, let the ankle flop around, let your calves shake. I want you to try your best to move the leg, let it flop around. It's moving, but it's also super relaxed. Try and get all the movement to feel floppy. All right, switch to the other side. We're gonna start with the gentle shake of the leg. We're gonna pick up the intensity, and then we're gonna let the ankle go, we're gonna let the calves go. We're gonna shake out the leg. If you want, you can try to integrate something that looks a little bit like this. You're rotating the leg in and out. If you plant a toe down or the ball of your feet down, you can work on this a little bit more manually. As you get more comfortable with letting your muscles relax and go, you can do it with a little bit less intention and just integrate it into the shaking and the flopping of your leg. If this is your first time joining in, this is going to be confusing. There's a lot of stuff. The goal here is just to relax your legs, turn into jello, be like overcooked spaghetti, and flop around. The reason, because that probably matters, why we're trying to look crazy, is we want our muscles to relax. If your muscles are really tense, you would look more like a robot. It is not what we want. That is the opposite of what we want. So we want to get loose. And one of the quickest ways to get loose is to shake out the tension. I have spent a ton of time talking about shaking out the tension, but as you practice, as you get more familiar with this type of releasing-ish technique of reducing tension, it'll happen like 5 to 10 seconds and you can move on. Cool? We've shaken out the tension. It's time to move on. Let's get into side split number 2. Again, I recommend you stand right in front of something that you can fall back onto because I don't want you to bust your butt. Cool? Let's go. Open up the legs. Get ready to get into that folding position. Again, if your hips are already hurting, just bring your legs back in. We will bring them back out later. Let's go. Fold forward. Put your hands down if you can already. Open up the legs. Get into a deeper position. Again, if the top of your head is pointing that way and the top of your toesies are pointing that way, you're probably good to rotate. That isn't 100% the case because it matters more about where your hips are pointing than your head necessarily. But as a general rule of thumb, it's fine. Okay. From here, we get into the hands. We're trying to do a mini push-up. We're putting that weight into our arms so that it's easier to externally rotate the legs, which means your heels are down, your toes are up, your knees are pointing up on both sides. Heels down, toes up, knees up. From here, we can start sitting back. We can start looking up now. We can walk our hands back towards our hips to put all that weight we kind of shifted forward back into our legs, and it will get us into something that looks like more of a side split. From here, if you're really close to the wall or the table behind you, you are probably able to touch it with your butt. If you want to just hang out there and use that as support, be my guest. Do that. Once you're here, we're going to do a little wiggle from side to side to try and get a little bit deeper in the stretch. And once you can't get any deeper, it's time. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. I can vaguely see that there's some comments coming in. Don't worry, when we're done with the stretches, I'll come back to the comments and I'll answer the questions one by one. I just want to make sure we get through the main stuff so that people can get out and enjoy the rest of their weekends. Whew. I forgot to count. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, lean forward, walk your hands over, bring your legs in, and come back to that resting position now that we've done the second side split-ish position. You're probably starting to feel it in your hips, your inner thighs extra bad. That means we're going to spend a little bit extra time shaking it out, relaxing in between so that we're prepared for round 3. When you're ready, come back up into standing, shake out the legs, nice and gentle to start. Remember, we're just trying to flick water off of our legs at first, and as you get more comfortable with the idea, you can like hold on to something to lean. You don't have to lift your leg as far out as I have been so far, because I've been exaggerating to demonstrate form. Just flop the leg, let it relax. If it's relaxing just underneath you and it's not all the way out here doing stuff, that works perfectly. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Other side. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Let the leg muscles relax. When you do this stuff relatively comfortably, you can see that my quads are just flopping all over the place, and all we're doing is doing this little tiny leg shake, right? Trying to relax as much of the musculature in your legs as possible. All right. One of the things that you should be feeling quite a bit of stiffness in right now is your hips on either side. So we're going to do this thing. I call it Stanky Leg Junior, and I'm going to talk about the form right now. We're going to pop into like a 10% squat, just a little tiny bit of a squat. And we're going to put all of our weight on one leg. We're going to gently hang out on the balls of our feet on the other side. And I want you to rotate that leg in. All the rotation, all the movement is coming from the hip right here, the leg moving in the hip. And I want you to move in and out and in and out. Oop, hold on. One of my devices is running battery, so I got to hit the low battery warning. And we're going to do a little bit of this to sort of loosen up and get the muscles here in the hip moving. All right? You don't have to do that many. 3, 4, 5 is fine. Switch to the other side. Again, we're doing sort of a 10% of a squat. We're putting all the weight in our other leg. We're getting on the balls of our feet on the other leg. We're just rotating that leg in the hip socket. The closer your legs are together, the easier it will be to do. And once you've done a couple of these, we're ready to move on into side split number 3. If you're just somehow joining in right now, we do 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching every single day to practice consistency, build a little bit of community. I try to put good vibes into the internet, do a little bit of mobility education, and hopefully you enjoy that. You bring good vibes right back into the chat, support each other as we work on community, consistency, making the suffering on the floor that we do a little bit more comfortable. Cool? A little bit more enjoyable, maybe, not comfortable. Let's do side split number 3. Follow, subscribe, do all those cool things. We're here at 9 p.m. every day. Cool. Side split number 3. Open up the legs. Again, should not hurt in the hips. If it does hurt, bring your legs in. We're folding here so that the belly button is pointing down towards the ground. Put your hands down if you can. Widen your stance a little bit more. Put more pressure into your hands like you're about to do a push-up so that it's easier on your legs to externally. Our heels are rotating so that they're down. Our toes are up. Our knees are pointing up. Heels down, toes up, knees up. Again, this is the most important part of everything that we do because this is mandatory for us to open up the hip and thigh position in order to do the side splits. All right? From here, you might naturally find that you're already just drifting off into a deeper side split because you're in position. Walk your hands back towards your hips. Put all that body weight right back above your legs and see if you can sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. Breathe and add a little wiggle from side to side. See if you can break the friction holding your feet from slipping out a little bit further. That's it. Let's go. Last 30 seconds. Third stretch. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. You can do things exactly as you have been so far, but you can also experiment a little bit. If your arms have been locked out straight this whole time, intentionally give them a slight bend. When you bend your arms, you'll suddenly feel that a lot more weight has dropped into your legs. Enjoy it. Enjoy the suffering. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. Walk your hands forward, pull your legs in, and try your best to just chill out for a second while your muscles figure out how to move. Okay, when you're ready, come back into standing. We're going to shake out our legs one more time, and we are going to be done. That's it. That's the whole thing. Let's go. Shake it out. Keep those legs loose. Shake the water off of your feet. Maybe imagine you're splashing somebody with the water that's dripping off your toes, just trying to flick them in the eyes with dirty pool water. You can switch over as many times as you like at this point. You know the drill. We're just shaking out the legs. You can hold on to something for a little bit of support. You can plant a toe to help you with some wiggling at the hip level. You can experiment with just shaking your leg out and doing crazy things. Your ankles getting loose and flopping all over the place. Great. Your calves kind of flopping around. Awesome. If you add a little bit of this rotation that we're just doing in that 10% of a squat, you can get the quads to be loose and flop around too. Just take your time, practice, get used to it. The more you practice, the easier it will be to reduce tension. And this is a skill you can use pretty much any time you're building up tension in the body. I always use a bicep curl example because I can't think of a more clear example. But if you do a lot of bicep curls, you're doing like 4 sets of 10 reps, a ton. At some point, your arm is going to look like this, right? Your bicep is so tight, you can't straighten your arm anymore. It's just going to lift up slightly because your bicep's tight. What we don't want when we're doing the side split is exactly that. We don't want our leg muscles, we don't want our thigh muscles to contract and keep us from getting into a deeper side split. So we're trying to relax those muscles as much as we can. We're trying to straighten out the muscles so that we can chill out in those deeper positions. And why is this useful for things like strength building? Strength is all about contracting the muscles, right? The stronger the contraction, the heavier weight you can lift. Cool. And the opposite of contractions is relaxing. So when you can control the full range of motion a little bit better, you can get a bit more out of every rep. Cool. That's why shaking out is cool. That's why shaking out is important. And that's why you should shake it out. As you get more skilled and you get more loose and you get more floppy, it is a great way to help relax your muscles in between the different sets. I know most people who love to pump, but you move a little bit better and you can get a little bit more out of your workout if you're loose. Cool. All right. We're going to do a couple of quick joint checks and then we're going to move on. The joint checks just to make sure that all of your muscles and joints are working well together. And we want to just make sure that's the case before I send you off to go do other things. Let's do some hip circles. After side splits, typically the left and right side of my hips really appreciate a little bit of extra stretching. So if you have something like that, go ahead and spend a couple of extra seconds taking care of those muscles. If they're sore, if they're tender, give them a little bit of love. We're going to move on into some high knees. You don't have to do very many. As long as your knees come up, they're looking strong, we're good to go. We're going to pop into a bit of a squat. We're going to fold at the hips. We're going to put some pressure in the knees, bring them forward. Once you bring your knees forward, your ankles should be feeling that pressure. And we're going to come up onto our toes and do a calf raise. If you're able to do a couple of these calf raises, you're probably good. We worked on all of the major movement patterns, front and back, in the hips, in the legs, in the knees, in the ankles. And if you're able to come in and out of a squat, work those calves, you're probably fine. So with that, I'd like to thank you for being here, practicing consistency, working on your hip mobility and side splits with me, because we are done. I hope you had fun. I hope you're feeling looser. I hope you're moving a little better. Maybe if it's your first time joining in, you're moving better than you thought you could, just because you got a little bit of exercise in. That's the goal. It'd be really nice to suddenly realize, oh wait, if I warm up, I move way better. Because now you're way more badass than you ever thought you were. Cool? Cool. All right. I'm looking at the chat now. because I have not been back here for a really long time, and I'm going to answer any questions that come through. I'm going to try to scroll, and if anything big comes up as I scroll, I'll respond to it, but I'm going to try and get to the top as soon as possible. Okay, ooh, on YouTube, we got Robin VSDK. Oh, who asked, why are we cramped in the corner over there? I'm extremely confused. It was because I was demonstrating the butterfly stretch. And in the butterfly stretch, I recommend you lean against the wall. When you lean against the wall, your shoulders, your hips, the back of your head even are against the wall. And they help you have this nice straight posture. But more importantly, they keep you from falling backwards. In a lot of stretches where we sit on the ground, if you have tighter hamstrings, it's a little bit harder to push your knees into the ground without moving all over the place. If you have to hold your feet to your chest and all this stuff, it's really hard to get into a deeper butterfly position. And you can see I'm actually genuinely trying to get into a deeper position and try to bring my knees down into the ground. My knees are pretty high up, right? But if I have something to lean against, I recommend a wall, and that's why we're in that corner. If we have something to lean against, I can use just my muscles to bring my legs way deeper down. And then if I were to apply some force with my hands, I can get even more open. And that is because my back is leaning against something. That thing is supporting me so I can focus on the muscles that really matter. In this case, the groin. So I hope that explains why I was in the corner. I just needed a stable wall to push against, and that was the easiest wall to get to. Whew. And Robin is enjoying the leg day workout. I appreciate that you treat this as leg day. It's hip mobility, okay? I'm just kidding. Leg day is cool. I'm scrolling. Oh man, this is going deep. Let's see what we got. We got a lot of people who have followed and joined in. I appreciate you all. Ganowski is here. Ganowski has been super consistent for months now. She's awesome. Welcome, Junie. Welcome back. Landlady, I saw this earlier. Assuming you're all in here but stretching, I'll comment to get this on the For You page. Thank you, Landlady. I appreciate it. All right. That's so encouraging. Thank you for sending positive vibes. Y'all are doing great, Landlady says. Jeannie says, I was so confused when you said PM. Lo, yes. Most of the lives are at 9 p.m. Eastern. We do that every single day. But on the weekends, I do a 9 a.m. Eastern as well. And that's what we're at right now. It is 67 minutes into the live. So we're at 10 a.m.-ish now. Scrolling. Just looking for questions. If I miss a question or a comment, it's just because I'm scrolling really fast, probably. We got Tara sending lots of emojis with taps and biceps. I appreciate it. Thank you for encouraging people. Don't leave to do this. I like it. I don't know what that means, but okay, cool. I'm glad you like it. Elle says, thank you. You're very welcome. And we got some excitement about the stretchers. Tater tats. Whew. Rokito, Rusen's official, is sending lots of encouragement. I appreciate it. Doing it in the room. All right, I'm scrolling down. I'm going to scroll a little bit faster. I'm looking for questions. I felt like I saw something earlier, and I'm trying to remember where it was or what it was. A whole bunch of thank yous. Michael, thank you for thanking me. Ooh, okay. Beep Boop Balula says, good morning. What days do you do your live instructions? I do the lives every single day, and Che has answered Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. And on weekends, I do 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. That is Eastern time. So whatever time zone you're in right now, whatever that time is, subtract an hour and 10 minutes, and that's the 9 a.m. And then that time, but instead of a.m., p.m. is the p.m. time. I was going to say add 12 hours to that afterwards, and that's probably a little bit too much math. So Che says, welcome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Che. I appreciate it. Beep Boop says, my first time joining. I will begin another day. Look forward to starting your class. I try my best to be very inclusive and give lots of information so that you can hop right in and join in with us. But yeah, I totally understand. You want to feel like you completed the whole thing, you did the whole thing. That makes total sense. You're probably not even on the live anymore because you said you'll join in again tomorrow. But for everybody else, I do try to have enough information that you guys can all get into the stretch immediately. And if you're not super warmed up, you're going to be a little bit stiffer sometimes if we're coming in mid show. And that's okay. If you give it your best shot, you learn a little bit, you work on some stuff, that's a good place to be. But I totally understand. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down. What else we got? Ganowski says, I have a wedding to go to today, so this is great for my dance moves. Yes, lovely. That's awesome. Enjoy the wedding, have fun, and break out some cool dance moves. I would love it if in a couple of months you were at some full splits and you can just break out into a full split, but that would be a crazy set of formal attire to wear to the wedding. I'm not sure I've had any suit pants that are quite flexible enough for me to get anywhere close to like 45 degrees, let alone 180 degrees, because they're like tailored and they don't stretch. So maybe you won't, but in your head you'll be like, I could have, if only there were stretchier clothes. Okay, I'm almost at the bottom. I saw two more. Rokito again asks how often you want to do this. I do this every single day, and I generally want to do this because this is the main time that I stretch, right? So most of my exercise happens right here on the live, and this is partially my way of staying accountable for myself. I started this live about a year and a month ago, and originally it was just because going live was proof that I showed up, right? You can't create a live without physically being here to record it. And I was like, I need to practice consistency. And the way I'm going to practice consistency and prove it to myself is I'm just going to record a live. I originally started on Instagram, and on Instagram, only your followers will see the live. And at some point, the live function was turned off by Instagram for accounts with under 1,000 followers. So I started up on YouTube and TikTok. And now it's grown into what you see today. So I do this every single day, and on weekends I do it twice. Beep boop is back. Oh, still here. Yes, I'm here. Thank you for your reply. Great instructor. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Ganasti is sending the crying, laughing emoji. He says, I mean, we practice this thank you like every day. That's absolutely true, and you definitely don't need that much mobility in to do this thank you leg, unless you do it really low to the ground, like actually in the old school music video. Then a bit more mobility. But anyways, I'm talking about it from like men's suit pants perspective. I assume if you're not wearing like a super thin dress, you can find stretchy pants. So I'm pretty sure you can pull it off. You can do anything you want. You're gonna be badass. I can't wait to hear back. Okay, Chase says, proof for 2026, new me, new you. Yes, that's true. Hopefully, I actually finish up this size split goal this year in 2026, and we can go do some different hip mobility things. Jeff says, I hope we're having a great weekend. Jeff, thank you for sending the gift just a second ago. I saw something come in. I hope you are having a great weekend as well, and I hope I'll see you at tonight's live, because I think you might have just missed this one. Travel Directly says, you've definitely made a lot of progress in your splits. Yes, over the course of the last year, I've made a ton of progress. Is a lot slower than I was expecting, but at the same time, this live is mostly a testament to consistency, right? It's, and you know, I have no problem saying this aloud. This is not the fastest way to get splits. And there's a caveat to that. If you can follow a perfect plan and then follow through on it 100%, and just do everything as soon as like the plan is presented before you, then that's actually truly the perfect plan, right? I don't know what the perfect plan is, but on top of not knowing what the perfect plan is, my biggest trouble for a long time was sticking with consistent. So part of the reason why this live exists is to create consistency for myself, but also create a space for everybody else to practice a little bit of consistency. Maybe you need a little bit of motivation. Maybe you need to have somebody else doing it with you. Maybe you just need some good vibes while you do them. And, or, you know, somebody created the plan, so you just follow along. You don't even have to count, right? That's a benefit. If that's what gets you going and gets you exercising, working on your hip mobility, working on your splits, then, you know, this is the right place to be. Okay, I think that is all of the chat, and I am ready to wrap up. So I hope you guys all had a fun time. Hope you're feeling a little bit looser, a little bit more comfortable, and you're ready to crush whatever you got left today. That's it from me. Thank you for coming in. And we have another live in like 11-ish hours, 10 hours and 45 minutes. I hope if you're free, I'll see you then. But if you're not, which is totally fine, it's the weekend. It's the evening weekend. We then I'll see you tomorrow or the day after. We do the live every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye. Closing out the chat. Closing out the live.